Gluten, it's not a myth, it's not really an allergy.
Dietitian and nutritionist Sharon Anderson says there is no such thing as a gluten allergy.
Gluten is a protein portion of some grains. Gluten is only found in barley, rye, oat, and wheat.
Anderson says the only instance where she would recommend cutting gluten out of a diet would be when someone has a celiac disease, where gluten may cause intestinal damage.
I am starting to get referrals for people who their physician has recommended trying a gluten-free diet just to see if it helps them with their intestinal problems. There are people, or there's some research out there that gluten, even in people who don't have celiac disease, can be an inflammatory part of our diet.
Cutting gluten out of diets has become quite the trend over the last several years, with no scientific explanation.
When people eliminate gluten, they eliminate a lot of processed food, so I think it sort of forces people to eat more healthfully. And again, if it's something that the body doesn't tolerate, their body may just work better.
Restaurants have also caught on to the trend and have expanded their menus.
When people first hear gluten-free, they think, okay, it's not going to taste good. It's going to be something wrong. It's going to be missing something, and that is absolutely not true at all. Back in the early days when going out to dinner and you said you're gluten-free, people would like, oh really? Well, we have a salad. You know, it was very limited, and people really didn't know what gluten-free meant. So we decided that, seeing we had a restaurant, not only would we go have gluten-free options, but we would jump in, full bore.
Started some years ago, 7 years ago now probably, cutting it out for myself, and then I realized that there's kind of a demand for it, so we started incorporating gluten-free items into our menu.
And going gluten-free might affect people's diets, but it also affects their budgets.
There is an upcharge for the gluten-free items. They certainly are more expensive than the gluten-laden items, but I think most people understand that.
The biggest expense for us for gluten-free is when we use gluten-free flours. They're probably 3 or 4 times the expense of a regular flour.
While gluten-free foods might not be the cure for specific sicknesses, the movement has become quite popular.
But it seems like a lot of the younger crowd are kind of leaning towards that direction. It really runs the gamut. I mean, it's a little bit of everybody,
We certainly have surprised people because their perception is it's not going to taste good, or it's going to have a bad texture to it. And in reality, the gluten-free industry has grown tremendously. Back in the day, you couldn't go to the grocery store and find anything that's gluten-free. And now there's gluten-free sections. Some stores have eliminated gluten-free sections because it's all in their mainstream aisles now.
With this trend taking off, both Ramuntos and Junipers at the Wildflower Inn plan to expand their menus. Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Alex Farmer.